Welcome back. Episode 6, I believe, of Learning Warriors of Middle-earth. This time we are going to take a look at the Dunlendings. So for the Dunlendings, what you need to bring them into play is you need Isengard at war, and then you need Saruman in play, which can happen early on pretty often anyway. And then it just takes one more muster die, and then you put 2 Dunlendings in North Dunland and 2 Dunlendings in South Dunland. And like any other faction, they cause the faction die to be in play for next turn. And if you should use the recruit die to, like with one of these recruit symbols to, do some recruiting, they put 1 Dunlending in both North Dunland and South Dunland. So the Dunlendings are probably, they're pretty good. I like them anyway. I don't love them, but I like them anyway. So what they do, they have a stacking limit of 3. So you got to bear that in mind. So if you hit the recruit button again right now, it would do absolutely nothing. It would recruit them up to 4, and then it gives you that little red symbol because it's mad at you for putting a 4th Dunlending, and then you have to discard back down to 3. So the cards that come with them, they are, I think, the most useful for just their combat card. You don't need their events for them to be useful, but their events still help anyway. So they're combat cards, they're called the battle cards, are Old Hatred and Fierce Folk. Both need the Dunlending to be with the Shadow Army that is happening in the battle. So there's Fierce Folk. Before you remove casualties, you may eliminate one or more of these Dunlending figures to cancel 1 hit for each figure you eliminated. If Armed by Saruman is in play, Dunlendings add to the combat card on combat strength of the Shadow Army this round. So Armed by Saruman is one of the faction event cards that you could play on the table and it stays there. I think Free People's player can use a Will of the West to discard it, but that would feel like a waste, I think. So anyway, you can either use them as hit points to protect regular units, or you can play Old Hatred. So before the combat roll 1 die for each of these Dunlending figures. Eliminate 1 Dunlending for each result of 1, and score 1 hit for each result of 6. So again, if you're going to roll 6s, this is a great card, because you also get to apply that result before the battle happens. So weakening the other army first is really good. Of course, you can also just roll 1s and kill your own Dunlendings, and then they've done nothing. So anyway, I've definitely seen them be strong on the offense with that card, though. So their cards are, we mentioned Armed by Saruman here when this figure is in play. Oh yeah, it also, if they're in a region with the Fellowship, they are considered a Shadow Army for the purposes of the hunt. So they, give you that extra reroll if they're sitting on the Fellowship. Right, and if you're using either of their Call to Battle cards, then they count for the combat strength. So if you have, 3 regulars versus 3 regulars, but you have 2 Dunlendings in play with them and Armed by Saruman in play, then you roll 5 dice for your roll. So that could be pretty useful. Then Wild Hillman, there's 2 of those out there. So recruit 1 Dunlending figure in each free Dunland settlement or add them to the starting setup. Then if they're in play, move all Dunlendings up to 2 regions. So you could, run these guys right down to Orthanc. These guys could go run to Dimroll Dale and be, joined up to go and attack Lorien. They're pretty useful. And very useful is their other event, Death to the Forgoyle. So I believe in the lore, Forgoyle is what they call the Rohirrim. Attack a Free People's army, including Rohan and or Gondor units with a Shadow Army in the same region with the Dunlending figures. Dunlendings are considered as Isengard regular units until the end of the battle. So not only is that nice that you could take them as casualties, even without Armed by Saruman being in play for that battle, but also this is an attack you can play with, with the faction die if it's showing a play a card event, or with a Palantir, right? So that's helpful anyway for speeding up a military victory. So that's most of what there is to the Dunlendings. They are eliminated if the Dunlending settlements are both conquered. So if this gets out of the way and this gets out of the way and this North Regular goes loot-de-doot-de-doo and conquers both these settlements, then the Dunlendings are out of play. So these guys would be removed from the board and they can't be brought back into play anymore. So anyway, it's fun that they have cute little remove conditions like that. It's not just running out of troops like the other ones. Anyway, that's pretty much all there is to the Dunlendings. I think that's all of it. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.